Hi, and welcome back to David Pattinson's Accused Friends. In this video, I wanted to put the idea in your mind about a new political party for Britain. And the reason is because we have the main political parties of the country at the moment are all on the same side. And this is something I've noticed for a long time, and a lot of people are starting to notice, particularly with the Brexit referendum. The Leave-Remain coalitions are far more representative of the country than the Conservative, Labour, Lib Dem axis. Because the problem is with the main parties now, as people saw in the referendum, they're all on the Remain side. They're all on the insider side. They're all on the side of big government, big business, and people who don't work. So if you're on the side, like a lot of people are, of small limited government, small business, and working people, you kind of have no representation. And the names of these parties now are highly misleading. The Conservative Party is not remotely conservative. They spend far more money than socialists like Jeremy Corbyn would have ever dreamed of. They don't stand up for family values, and there's nothing about them that's remotely conservative. Labour don't want to have anything to do with working people. They want to stand up for people that do not work, and any kind of grievance group, and anyone that's hardworking and ambitious to do well. Labour don't want to have anything to do with you. And then, as we saw in the most recent election, the Liberal Democrats may be liberal, but they're certainly not democratic, because their main policy was to overturn and completely deny the referendum result in the 2016 Brexit referendum election. So I don't think any of these parties are representative of what they sort of claim to be, and we're misleading the British people all the time thinking they are. And we're also misleading the British people to think these parties are natural opponents to each other, when they're all on the side of big government. They all want to perpetuate the status quo. They're all on the side of the establishment. And, for everyone else in the country, they really don't have any representation. Now, last year, obviously, the Brexit Party emerged, and it kind of emerged as an opposition to everything else. And it got a lot of support in the European elections. And I think it would have got a lot of support in the general election if it didn't capitulate to Boris Johnson's demands about, not running any Brexit people in the Conservative constituencies, but just running them in Labour ones. And, I thought when I was looking at the election last year that the Conservatives would struggle, simply because I thought the people would want to punish them for not delivering Brexit. But of course, it actually came down to a kind of an election between Boris Johnson and Theresa May, even though they were in the same political party. Even though Boris Johnson was in the cabinet of Theresa May, people saw Boris Johnson as kind of a new party, and Theresa May as the failed Conservative Party, even though they're both in the Conservative Party. And of course, Jeremy Corbyn could have said, Conservatives, they didn't deliver Brexit, we will, vote for us. But instead he said, Conservatives may or may not deliver Brexit, but we definitely won't. And, even on this lockdown stuff, Labour could have come out against the lockdown, been the natural opposition to the pro-lockdown Conservatives. But instead, they're kind of almost taking the position of, not only would we be in favour of lockdown, but we'd be in favour of a lockdown for even longer. So there's no actual opposition to the lockdown policy. It's just, dancing around the edges. So I really think it's time for a new party in the country. When was the last time you saw a government that obeyed its manifesto pledges? I think they kind of treat it as a matter of norm to immediately violate the manifesto pledges that they make. And, that's what Conservatives and Labour did last time around with their support of, adhering to the referendum results. And, it's what the Conservatives are going to be doing now on spending. I'm a Conservative guy, but, the Conservatives are not conservative. I don't have a problem with Boris Johnson personally, but to say his leadership of the country has been an unmitigated disaster, I think would be the understatement of the century. So there's a lot of disillusionment with politics right now, and there's a significant amount of mistrust with politics at the moment, and I think it's largely to do with this lack of competition in politics. A lot of these political parties, or the main ones certainly, have what's called a Parliamentary Assessment Board, which is where they vet candidates coming in. And I've gone through this process before. My approach with the Conservative Party and with the Brexit Party was to say, it's an insider versus outsider system, and we need to expose the kind of monopoly that these parties have in government. And I thought that was a total winning message. But of course, the big political parties, they didn't like that message at all, and they said, David, I don't think you're the right guy for us, which of course is probably true. But what we need to do is open up competition into our democracy, so anyone could run for office, and the candidates, the members of Parliament, are chosen by the people, not by the party. We don't have parties choosing candidates to send to the people. We have people choosing candidates to send to Westminster, to send to the parties. And, I think that'd be a much more democratic system. And I think that's something we need to look at achieving. So I'm just putting this out there to get people thinking about it, and I'll do more on this in due course. But there's absolutely no doubt that there's a lot of hostility towards the government brewing, and will continue to brew as we come out of this lockdown and people start to see the total economic devastation, and also the ongoing violation of civil liberties. It's not going to stop with the lockdown ending. It is going to continue pretty much indefinitely. So I hope you like this video. Please subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you soon.